Hi y'all, this is Cheryl, and I'm tired. I got a headache. Just came back from running I went to the store to get some stuff we needed. And last time we spoke, I revealed for the first time since it happened. It was my first public admittance to having been sexually assaulted. So I went and saw my therapist yesterday, and he thinks it'll be good for me to do two things. For one, talk about it, and two, hand it over to God and let him deal with it. Because he said that's part of what's depressing me, is I've been carrying this burden for 25 years. So here we go. Okay. I was in business school, and I had the 6 to 10 class. So one day I went to school, and I had on a sharp flower business suit with some white shoes. Stockings, of course, you're in business school. And I had a burgundy coat that I love so much. Well, something just told me to leave early. Something bad was going to happen. That was at like 6:30. And I was like, I just got here. And so, by me being so like I am about everything, I was like, well, let me get something in before I go. So I lingered until about 7:30, 7:45, and I told my teacher, I said, I got to go home. And he was like, why? I said, it's just something. I got to go home. So I get all my stuff together, walking out the building. Got a few streets down from the building, on my way to the bus stop, and this guy walked up to me, and I had a ring on with a fairly large stone, and he was, talking how guys talk when they're trying to run the lines, and I was like, look, I'm married, so I'm really not interested. And he was like, I just want to walk with you. And I was like, well, I don't want you to walk with me. I told you I'm married, so buzz off. So I got about 3 steps. He comes up beside me again. And I'm like, I was going to say, do you get a hint? But then he pulled out this big ass knife. It was like a hunter's knife. And my breathing just stopped. And I was like, oh my God. So he was like, yeah, you gonna walk with me. And I'm thinking, how can I get out of this? I don't have a chance of running back. So I got to think of something. So I decided to pretend like I had sprung my ankle. And I was like, oh, my ankle. Oh, wait. And he was like, get your ass up. Ain't nothing wrong with your ankle. So I'm like, damn. Then I was like, well, and I'm thinking this in my head, maybe if I run out into traffic, maybe nobody will hit me, but people will stop and know something's wrong. So I'm thinking to run. And I'm trying to inch my way over to the edge of the sidewalk so I can just bust out into traffic. Oh my God. He was like, what you doing? And I was like, oh, nothing. I'm coming. So he had me unbutton my coat. because it zipped and then it had toggle buttons on the side. So he had me open up my coat. I didn't understand this. I was like, this is stupid, I'm cold. But I was like, okay. So then I was like, maybe if I just surprise and jerk away from him, I can make it. I tried. He stabbed me inside. I was like, okay, I'm not going to try this shit anymore. So I was like, okay, look, this is going to happen. So let me do what I got to do, and then you can do whatever you got to do. So he was like, what you got to do? And I was like, I got to make peace with my Heavenly Father. So I stood there, said the sinner's prayer. I wasn't scared of dying anymore. And I was like, okay, let's go. So he took me back into this alley, into the deepest part of the alley where no light shines or nothing. He makes me take off my coat and lay it on the ground. Okay. He snatched my business suit open, so the button flew somewhere, I don't know. He lifted up my blouse. You know, my sucked on my breast. Then he raped me for the first time. Then my side is still bleed, but that's not my concern. So then he Jesus. Okay. He had on a sweater and a shirt. I remember that distinctly. I remember the pattern of that sweater, and I'll probably never forget. And he lifted it up and he pulled his shirt up and he made me pinch and squeeze his nipples and then suck on them. Then he raped me the second time. Then he made me give him oral sex. And he I'm gonna go real medical here because I can't say the street words for it, or I'm not gonna make it through the rest of this video. He ejaculated in my mouth and made me swallow it. So, okay, that was that. And then he said he changed his mind. He wasn't going to kill me, but he was going to do something worse than kill me. He was going to send me home to my husband soiled and see how long our marriage lasted. And he heard a bus and he got up and left. And I don't know why, but I just sat there in shock. I could not move. It's like my brain just went retarded, and I was like, I just couldn't move. Then a voice shook me and said, "Get up and run." So I grabbed my coat, I grabbed my purse, and I ran back to the school. I was so hysterical. Some of the students was outside smoking, and they was like, Cheryl, what's wrong? I didn't want nobody to touch me. Anybody that touched me, I swung on them. So one of my female teachers said, "What's wrong?" And I just blurted out, "That son of a bitch raped me. That bastard raped me." So they called the police and an ambulance. They took me to the hospital. And they took me to the rape room, which had no blinds at the door. It just said sexual assault unit. So when people walk past and you're sitting on that table, people are looking at you, which is real kind of fucked up to me. But you get one of two looks. They either look at you and you know they thinking she's a nasty bitch now, or they look at you with this, "Oh, poor thing," and being raped was bad, and it was one of the worst things that ever happened to me in my life. But that stuff they do to you at the hospital makes you feel about that big. They took swabs from my mouth, they took swabs from my vagina, my anus. They pulled a big plug of hair out of my head. They pulled another plug from my vagina. They cut off my fingernails. They kept all my clothes. Made me they packed all this stuff up for what they call a rape kit. And my sister had to bring me everything from home because they took my bra, my panties, my slip, my stockings, my shoes, my coat. They took everything for evidence. So I'm sitting up there buck naked like a dumbass bitch. So my sister had to bring me everything from home. And when I went home, my family didn't believe in psychiatrists and counseling and all of that. So when I went home, I stayed in the house for a year. And it's just a good thing I had done so good in class that I had already had a 4.0 by then, that I graduated. I wasn't going to go to my graduation. And my grandma, I don't know, yeah, grandma was alive then, because she made me wear one of her dresses, and I was like, I don't want to go. And she was like, don't let him take away this special moment. You worked hard in that school, and you need to walk across the stage. And we went, but I didn't go in. I didn't want to face those people, so we just skipped the graduation and went somewhere else and played around and did whatever. But I have so much anger for what he did to me. And I know I wasn't dressed for it. I didn't ask for it. I didn't want it. But sometimes I feel like a total slut. Because the few people who do know about it and have known about it said, well, I would have just let him kill me before I did that. I would have just let him kill me before I did that. And so sometimes I feel like a total slut that I did that and didn't just let him kill me. But I told him, when you're looking at that knife and it's already impaled your flesh once, you don't want no more. All your priorities change up. Everything you thought you would do in a bad situation goes right out the window. All you want to do is live. And that's all I was thinking about, is I want to live. And so that's my sexual assault. And it was so traumatizing that I can't even remember the day or the year that it happened. I had buried that so deep inside of me. I can only recall if somebody gets the police report or somebody in my family remembers, because I don't. All I know is that it was cold. I had to have on a coat. But as far as everything else, just gone. So I've talked about it, and I've never talked about it in detail. I've never said everything he did to me, and now I have. And I just want to encourage anybody else who's had this experience. It's not your fault. You didn't ask for it. No is no. So I thank y'all for y'all's support, and please watch this video in its entirety, because I want people to understand. Good night.